Don't you know no good? 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 Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Y'all come on in. Come on in, Maroon. Come on in, Maroon. See me being nosy. Y'all come on in. We got a whole lot of going on, and we are going to talk about a couple things this evening. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Enjoying this cool weather out here. As you guys can see, we're getting stuff together. We are not complete, but it is enough for me to sit my rumpa pump out here and enjoy myself and talk about the goings on. So we're gonna talk about the goings on. First thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get this started because I am not doing a 2 and a 3 hour live tonight. I'm just gonna go and do my little thing and get on back off, and you know it is what it is. So welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Lord. I have been watching the hearing for Young Thug all day today. And I thought that it was pretty interesting. That's one of the things that I was looking at. Ultimately, they denied his bond hearing that he had today. Angie, hey, how you doing? Um, his attorneys put up a good fight. They absolutely put up a good fight. I thought that they did an excellent job. Um, but again, I'm watching this because all these cases that have been going on as of late seem to have some things in common. So I'm just kind of watching to see how things play out. And this now, for those of you who are not familiar with this case, Young Gun and about 27 other people, they have been locked up um, on a RICO charge. His organization, YSL. Yes, it was televised today. If I was on my stream, I show you guys a part of it. But yeah, it was televised. So you got to see him and another young man that was up there. So they did the video Zoom basically from inside the facility that those guys were at. Y'all got to excuse this little loudness from this thing up here, but yeah. So basically the state was saying that because he had this money and he had access to certain things and he had all these resources, that he was a flight risk, and they were concerned about him intimidating witnesses because supposedly there were some people that said that they had been threatened, not by him, but by people that were associated with him. Um, they said that there were messages and stuff that were going to different people, intimidating people. So they were talking about witness intimidation. Again, nothing that is directly linked to him, but allegedly by some associates of his. He has been locked up since the 9th. So it's very interesting. Again, we've seen and heard some of these things before. So we're going to see. And I was interested to see if they were going to, let him out. Because usually with those type of charges, they kind of hesitant. If they can find a way to keep you in, then you in. They're going to try their best not to let you out. Now, their thing was based on a criminal organization. They were calling, and the state attorney referred to his crew as the Enterprise. They refer to him as the Enterprise and an Enterprise. So they basically they're hitting him up with this Rico, um, trying to say I guess like some drug stuff was in there, but mostly like gang related. So this his record label and all this stuff falls up under this YSL thing, and they're basically trying to say that, well, when they started the YSL, it started out as Young Slime. What is it? Young Slime Life. So I guess as people matured and as Young Thug was trying to use it in a business sense, he started saying that the YSL stood for um, Young Stunner Life or something like that. Um, so they tried to switch it up or whatever. But no, that these people said this is an enterprise and all this stuff that y'all been doing for all these years. And you guys have to check it out because some of the information that was presented today, and this was just a bond hearing, they talked about messages that they had obtained from 2015. So this is what I really want people to think about and like really look at. These messages were obtained from 2015. It's 2022. That's 7 years. That's 7 years. So what I said before, like people don't just start looking at you. Like they've been looking at you for a long time. Stuff didn't just happen overnight. They've been building up cases for a long time. So they're saying that some deaths um, that took place some years ago, that basically that Young Thug was he's the head of the Enterprise. Sound familiar? He's the head of the Enterprise, and he was calling the shots. And the witnesses were saying that they were afraid for their lives, and if they didn't cooperate with Young Thug, that he would basically wipe them and their families out. Like this is what they were afraid of. Now, if this is true, I have no idea, cause y'all, I don't know nothing about Young Thug. I don't know anything about Young Thug. I just know that he is a rapper and he is here um, in the Atlanta area, um, and this is where his family is. But like I said, that there are a lot of things in this whole situation that sound familiar. I think the thing that caught my attention, what caught my attention, was the fact that they were using lyrics from his songs um, as part of their evidence and part of the reason why they felt like he shouldn't he shouldn't get out. And so the attorney got up and he read some lyrics from his songs, and you could tell they were pulling different pieces. And y'all know how this work on here. You know, people go and just like people do the Bible, you know, they'll go and pull it apart that they feel like apply to their situation. Then they'll go and put their little spin on it, their own little razzle dazzle on it to make it fit whatever situation they got going on. It was pretty much the same thing with these lyrics. So it was pretty much the same thing that they were doing with his lyrics. So I found it interesting. They pulled one part about he said something about he all about the money. He all about money. If it ain't about money, like you know whatever. It was like some crazy stuff, and ultimately, it was the attorney was like a white attorney in his late 50s, early 60s, and actually no, he looked like he was older than that. When the black attorney got up, because he wanted to do a little rebuttal to what this other attorney had said, and he basically came out and said, "You got this older white male. Not that race has anything to do with it, but when you look at it, the context of it, like, how are you gonna go and you're like late 50s, early 60s, and gonna try to tell other people or tell us what these young black boys what they mean by the words of these songs? Like you don't know, like what you look like trying to tell us what these words mean in this song." And so the guy pulled some other lyrics. Like he read a little bit further down. He was like, "See what he read y'all this little piece, but he didn't go and read y'all the other piece." He said he can't tell you who wrote the song, who all appeared in the song, like who produced the song. He can't tell you nothing. He's just trying to pull pieces out and tell you what he think this stuff is. I was like, "Oh, you said that?" He said that in front of the judge. I was like, okay. And I guess he felt like he had a little bit more leeway because the judge in this particular situation right now is a black judge. So I guess he felt like he can come out and say something. He was kind of telling the judge like, you were young. It was just, I don't know. There was a lot of talk. Yeah, it was a lot of people that they put on the stand. So I'm like, if they got these people to put on the stand just for the bond hearing, um, character witnesses, they had a bunch of them. They were all up on the screen for Zoom. Excuse me. They were all up on the screen for Zoom. Um, they went to court. You had Kevin Lyles. Um, you had a young guy that worked with a nonprofit organization that Young Thug, like would support, be a supporter of, give some money and stuff like that too. Um, Pretty much vouching to the stuff that he did in the community. Kevin Lyles, he got up there. He works with he has a deal with Kevin Lyles, whatever. He cried up there. Like it got a little emotional in there. It was like crucial. And the judge seemed like he was listening, but then, my opinion, I felt like the judge was a bit mouthy. Like he was a little bit too opinionated for me. It's like, it's one thing, like usually the judges have their opinions like at the end. He was cutting the attorneys off. he was what the judge in the Johnny case would call snarky. He was a little snarky. So, but ultimately he denied it. He denied his bond, and he said basically he did it based on two things. Hey, Lavelle, how you doing? He did it based on two things. The first thing that he was basing it on was whether or not he was a threat. They also looked at if he was a flight risk, but they were looking at was he a threat, um, and they were also looking at his ability to intimidate witnesses. And with the state saying that they had all these witnesses that were supposedly afraid of him and saying that he was the head of this organization, and I mean technically he is the head of YSL, like true story. But it just depends. And they were saying that YSL is basically this is not how they said it, but it's how I'm gonna say it. YSL is basically a subsidiary, okay, of the Bloods. That's basically what they were saying. So I guess they changed the name because I know that Slime has some association, has some gang association. It has a gang connotation to it. So I guess that's why they had changed the S from Slime to something else. But the attorney was saying, basically like a gang by any other name is still a gang. So he definitely has himself in a mess, but his attorneys were on it. When I tell you they fought till they couldn't fight anymore. And the judge was like, you know what? I appreciate y'all gave it a good go. And if y'all get some more info, because they had a whole plan worked out, y'all, how they were going to do the house arrest, and they already talked to the police department. They had like 24 officers on standby that were going to be moonlighting. They were going to have 2 officers on shift. He wasn't going to be able to have any electronics in his house, no internet. And when I say electronics, I'm talking about TV, radio, phones. Like they were taking all that out. The only thing that they were proposing that he had in that house was a dial-up, because he was going to need dial-up for the electronic monitoring. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with electronic monitoring, now I don't know if the game has changed since I was a probation officer. But whenever we did the electronic monitoring and we had to go in the homes and hook up the electronic monitoring, you had to have that phone. You had to have a landline. Now, I know that they can do Bluetooth and all this stuff now, but bro can't use electronics. So there's no such thing as a Bluetooth. They pat sir, like he got a guest list, but they had him still in, like he was going to be locked up. He was just going to be locked up at home. So they had a guest list form. Let me change that. A visitation list. They had a visitation list form. Whoever came in the house was going to have to be pat search. They were going to have to get the wand. Sir Miguel, how you doing? They were going to wand them. And they would have to go through a full metal detector and a wand. And they were going to have to get pat search. Like they were getting the whole nine. Like they were coming inside a facility. He was going to be monitored under closed circuit. And whichever home. The judge allowed him to stand. Demetra, hey, how you doing? How you doing, lady? Um, like they had everything on lock. He wasn't gonna shawty, hey, how you doing? How y'all speaking to me? Hey y'all. Like they had everything lined up. They had him surrender his passport, so his attorney already had his passport, so that wasn't going to be an issue. Um, I said that he was going to have closed circuit all through his house, all through his house. And if they wanted access, like if they just wanted to peek in his house to see what he was doing, he basically was surrendering his rights. He was relinquishing his rights to privacy at that particular time in order to be able to, like if the judge agreed to this, he was going to be relinquishing um, his rights in his house, basically, and it was going to be ran like a jail. He was not going to be able to leave the house at all except to go to court if he had any medical issues. Any medical staff that would be tending to him would have to come to the house, and they get pat searched and everything too. They were going to go and do a sweep of the house before he actually came home. They were going to do a full-fledged sweep, then let the people come in, install whatever they needed to um, install in the house, check them before they would, like it was full-fledged, and the officers were going to be paid $60 an hour, and he was going to be responsible for it. And whenever they did the math for them to do that for 1 year, just for 1 year, it was going to be over $1 million. Chocolate chip, hey, how you doing? It was going to be at least $1 million. Now let me tell you how, just show you like how different things are. In his situation, you got a celebrity. He has all these people that come to speak up for him, and not random people, like people that actually know him. The guy that ran the nonprofit that said that he did a lot of stuff with him, he knew him since he was like 5 years old. Kevin Lyles, he's known him for at least the last 10 years, and he says he looks at him as a son. This was the one that was crying on the stand. This was just from the bond hearing. He was crying on the stand. But he told him, he said, they said, you realize that if you go and the judge grants this, are you willing to put your business on the line? Are you willing to put your house? You willing to put like everything on the line? He said, I put everything on the line, business wise and professionally. I put it all on the line. He said, that's my son. He's like my son. That's what people do. Okay. That's what people do. When they believe in you, that's what they do. That's what they do. Hey Teresa, how you doing? When they got your back, that's what they do. Now, see, this is one of the things I'm trying to get people to understand. Now, y'all know there's always a message in the message. When people believe in you and they got your back and they feel like you being done unjust and they want to see stuff done the right way, then they got your back. They willing to put it on the line for you. This man said he would put it all on the line. They are you. What you saying? He said, yes, I understand. Yes, he flew in just for this and was flying right back out. You had a 15-year-old boy. Let me not say boy. You had a 15-year-old young man that got on the stand. And he had been working with, well, Young Thug had been working with him, I think, since he was like 8 years old. The little boy and his family was from Florida. They were from Florida. And they're here, and he's been helping their family out. He's been taking the guy on tour with them. So the guy has been like all across the country with him. He named some of the places that they went to. California, Texas, different parts of Texas, other parts of Florida that he hadn't been to, Missouri, Chicago, like just name all these different places. And when I tell y'all, y'all have to go and watch this thing today, because that young man, when I tell y'all, he brought tears to my eyes. And let me, oh my God, he brought tears to my eyes. That little joker was so articulate, and he was so confident in his. Let me tell you something. That joker turned around and he looked at that judge. He was like, "How you doing today, sir?" Hey, that joker got up there like he was Barack. He got up there and was speaking and pronouncing them words like he was Barack. I got teary-eyed. I was like, oh. And even Young Thug got teary-eyed. I'm like, come on. You a thug, you know? Now, so let me say this real quick. I'm just starting to watch this. I mean, I saw where he was arrested like, a couple weeks ago, but I'm really like starting to watch it now. I don't really know anything about, what he has going on. I don't know if he's guilty or not. What I do know is based on the law that he is innocent until proven guilty. And that's what we're going off at this particular time. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't have a hell to put him in. I don't have a heaven to put him in. I'm looking at what's going on. And he's going to have the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. Yeah, they stood 10 toes deep for you. Didn't they, Shawty? I was like, okay. The ugly face. Okay. Yeah, okay. Like, there was no, I don't know what all he had going on. And I'm going to tell you my opinion just from what I'm seeing. And like I said, I don't know anything about him like that. I don't even know if I know any of his songs, like, to be honest. I got to go and pull up my little Apple stuff and see what songs got Young Thug in it, child, because I don't even know. And I like rap, but I think that when he was younger, that YSL was about that slime life. You know what I'm saying? He was one of them talking about what's popping slime. He was about that slime life. And I think just like with anybody else, as you get older, you mature. You're hopefully, let me say that, hopefully, you mature. Your thoughts mature. Your behaviors mature. Your reactions, your responses mature. Hopefully, for most of us, that's how it's supposed to go. Miss Fat, hey, how you doing? That's how it's supposed to go anyway. I mean, that's how it's supposed to go. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that because you look at a lot of the young black rappers that are out now, um, and you listen to their stories, not all of them, but a lot of them, were about that life coming up. They were about that life. Some of them still about that life. But you hear their stories and you see they had a lot of stuff going on. Now, as they get older and start maturing and see that they can actually start doing stuff the legit way and they don't have to be out on that street, hustling and doing all that extra curriculum, curricular stuff, then a lot of them, they leave that life alone. And some of them can't, they don't leave the people alone that were a part of that life. And that's where a lot of them end up messing up. Hint, hint, because they can't leave some of them people alone from the street. Hint, hint, one more time. Message, because they can't leave some of those people alone from the street. Message, one more time, because they can't leave some of them people alone from the street. Message, as you mature, your company tends to change, right? Your life should start taking a different turn, especially when you find yourself in a better situation. When you've been blessed to come out of a, not so good situation to a more positive one, hopefully that evokes change, for some people. And I'm thinking that he might have been a little bit, he was out there more when he was younger. And now, you older and like that stuff coming back now. And it's like, I don't do this. Like, this not me anymore. But it was you when they started looking at you. That's just my thought. So when they start, talking about messages that were put out there, because he had one message that he put out to a group of people right after somebody was killed. And it basically said that anybody that, if they find out that anybody's talking or anybody that does talk or goes into court and swears to tell the truth to God, they deserve to be killed. Like, that was one of his messages in there. And the judge repeated that message. And that was one of the things that he held on to when he said he felt like he was still a danger um, to other people. And he repeated the threat that was made in that it was like a group text. And I mean, this was from years ago. 2015, 2016. This was from years ago. But they said people are still talking about it, so people are still worried about it, so it's still relevant to this day. So it was a lot. It, like I said, it lasted all day. It literally came to a close by like what, an hour and a half ago, if that long. Um, but the judge ultimately denied it. And I noticed that the judge didn't come across nasty with it. He was like, yeah, I had to take these things into account. I understand y'all got this. Like, they put a lot of effort into getting a plan together um, for him to be able to get out and listen. For those of you that are on here that are familiar with the other thing, let me throw something at you that a lot of people didn't know. See, that's what I'm telling people on here, act like they know stuff and they don't know stuff. There was one of the attorneys that people don't necessarily like. They got mixed up with somebody else. Um, he was willing to let the people that everybody is supporting, he was going to let this person come and stay at his residence. He had put a plan into action like that too, and had like a lot of stuff planned out. So that's something that you didn't find out here in these streets, because it wasn't none of anybody's business. They didn't know. So y'all just got that exclusive from here. Figure it out. Um, and this was somebody that didn't know him. Whereas you got Young Thug, these people know him and they're willing to put their name and stuff. This other situation. This was a guy of a completely different persuasion. He was the one that was willing to put his stuff up and put his stuff on the line for somebody that was his client. At the time, he was going to put all his stuff up and let him come and stay with him and do whatever he had to do so that that person could get out. This was one of the people that got involved with folks in the wrong way, and had he stayed out the way and just did his job and stuff, would have been all right. But he wanted to come on people channels and all that kind of stuff. Now y'all figure that out. Figure that out. And this is not something that somebody told me. I heard this out of his mouth. Like, this came from his mouth to this ear. Actually, well, both ears. I had my earpieces. So that's another one of those things where I'm looking and I'm comparing situations. And I'm looking at how this guy, this young guy, has all these people coming to his defense. And like I said, people, he has supporters and stuff, but you don't see all those supporters at that courthouse. I don't know. I guess they ain't bumping them like that in Georgia. I don't know, but his family was there. All of his family, like brothers, sisters, like the family they were holding it down. But even with him not having as many supporters as other people may have, the supporters that he had, when I tell you they rocked with him, they rode for him like they were there. When I tell, it wasn't somebody getting on the stand just making up some stuff just to sound good. Oh, well, he did such and such, and they speaking like from in third and fourth, like secondhand accounts because they weren't there. These were people that he knew, people that grew up with him, people that's like putting it all on the line, like, and that's just not right, Miss Fad. It was all the way solid. It was solid. And I mean, even him, you saw him sitting in there and he was just like, it seemed like he was overwhelmed with the support that he was getting from his people in that courtroom. And I said, regardless of which side, whether he did this stuff or not, it's always a good thing to see that you have that support at the end of the day. Because in these situations, you're going to need it. You are definitely going to need it. But, I mean, they had stuff in place. They had stuff in place. And again, you know, I got to bring it all together. I got to bring it all together. Miss Fat, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. See, people think they know and they don't know. My mind was in the same, because I'm always comparing stuff. I'm always comparing stuff. And I'm just in a place now where, you know what? It is what it is. But just the stuff that I have witnessed for myself and stuff that I have seen myself, myself, that support wasn't the same. With all these people, all these thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are supporting over here, this guy just had a handful. But that handful was powerful. You hear me? That handful. I'm telling, when that young boy got up on that stand, I hate to keep calling him a boy because he is a young man, but when he got up on that stand, ow, that was crucial. That was crucial, and he was passionate about it. And it wasn't on some, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm starstruck kind of stuff. Like, these people were speaking like real stuff. Well, oh, when he became a star, and it wasn't that type of time. Miss Fat, I teared up too. Like, honest to God, I teared up. I did. I felt like that was my son. Like, I felt so proud. I felt so proud. And the fact that this young man has adorned himself like he's a motivational speaker. He goes to different schools. Young Thug takes him on tour with him. He lets him speak to the crowds. He gets to speak to the audiences. He's going out to different organizations, the Boys and Girls Club, different places, and speaking to people. And not only is he speaking to people about just regular schmegular stuff, this 15-year-old going up in these places talking to these young kids about financial literacy and keeping their credit good. Hot darn it. Would you look at that? This 15-year-old teaching these young folks financial literacy. Jump back, kiss yourself. That boy's bad. You hear me? He is gonna be a force to be reckoned with when he get older. He already a force at 15. And let me remind that he 15. I think he's 15. And he in 11th grade. Let that marinate in his spirit. He 15. Well, some people sitting in the 9th grade at 15. He in the 11th grade. And they said, well, how you pull that off? He said, you know, my mom homeschooled me, and like, I just be on it. You absolutely right, son. You are on it. Okay, you keep doing what you're doing. But just that kind of stuff, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. And let me tell you something else I don't see. I don't see people getting in the way. I see people commenting, commentators, the news is covering. I don't know if everybody covering it all over the place, but I know like 11 Alive, because that's Atlanta. Um, they're showing it. So if you want to see what happened today, I don't know who else is showing it, but go to 11 Alive's page and you can see the whole thing from today. But you don't see all these people out here acting a fool and like interfering in the course of what's going on. Like nobody's doing all that extra stuff. Instead of people like showing out, they didn't show out, they showed up. There's a difference. They ain't showing out, they showed out by showing up. That's what I'm saying. Dress nice, coming in there speaking with some sense. Like they showed up for that man. And I don't know what the future holds for him. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of his case, but I know that they have 28 of them that have been charged with RICO, and they have their organization has been basically labeled as an enterprise, a criminal organization. So it's just a little bit different, but there's definitely some parallels there. Catch that. Um, but I'm just gonna look and see how these situations are handled, because just off the jump, just from the very jump, they are being handled completely different off the top. It was Miss Pat. Oh my gosh, I know his mama is so proud. I know his mama is so proud. And I saw that judge. He had like he wasn't interested, because he was like, "How many more people you got coming to the stand?" And a guy was like, well, what is he gonna say? Because he was basically saying the first guy that worked with the not with Young Thug with the nonprofit that knew him since he was like 5 years old. He was like, he basically said enough. Okay, we know that he's a pillar of the community. The community loves him. Like, okay, we know that. But I guess he saw that the young guy, he was already sitting back there, and the judge was like, what is he gonna say? And the guy said a little bit about what he was gonna say, and the judge really didn't want to let him come up there. But when that young man got up there and he was talking, the judge like looking through some papers. I saw him look up at that boy. He was like, I was like, yeah, that's right. You ain't want to hear that, did you? It was y'all had to go and check that out, especially if you have any interest in the other case that's going on, because you will see a lot of similarities, and you'll see how some stuff is supposed to go, opposed to a lot of the foolishness and stuff that we see going on. And you see what that support really looks like. You really get to see what that support looks like, and how things could be if people decided to let it go that way. Because ultimately, I mean, just like in his case, like we don't know the outcome, and I'm pretty sure that there are some people that's saying, he didn't do this. Just like the people like Kevin Lyles, it was like, nah, he wouldn't do that. The other, like, nah, he wouldn't do that. You think he gonna threaten people? No, he wouldn't do that. You think he gonna go out and commit crimes? No, he wouldn't do that. You think he would try to avoid court and just no, he would never do that. Like, you got people that, you know, but still at the end of the day, I think these people understand that they have to let that process work. You definitely have to let that process work. And so I just enjoyed not seeing him in that particular situation because I see enough of that already. Um, right, Miss Fat, right, right. Um, I personally see enough of that already. But what you really don't get to see is people getting support like that, like genuine support. You usually just don't see that. So um, I just think it's a good thing to check out if you like, looking at or get into, the justice stuff and all that um, seeing how the system works, like really seeing how the system works and like looking at different methodologies that the attorneys and the judges are using within these systems so that you can compare and say, okay, well, they did this over here, and okay, now you can go and ask questions and, you know what I'm saying, go do some your research on, okay, well, why was this done this way, and what did they mean by this? And it's great when guys show out throughout people, and that's what happened today. The judge will never forget that. Yeah, Lavelle, I believe that. I know he gonna go home. I don't know if he married or not, but if he is, y'all know about that pillow talk. He gonna be like, go look at that boy that was on that stand. He gonna say, little boy, go look at that little boy that was on that stand today. I'm saying, oh man, I was already blown away. But when that joker said that he was teaching them, he said, I also had to talk to them about their credit and making sure they keep their credit in check. Yeah, I was just having this conversation with my nephews on Monday. Just having this. That's one of the things. I can't even talk. Okay. I used to teach financial literacy, okay? I can't say where. I used to teach financial literacy, and I just leave that there. And so when I hear him talking about that, and he's only 15, and I'm talking to my 19 and 14-year-old nephews, trying to make sure that they keep their credit in check and start early, with getting their credit right and making sure that they don't fall into the traps when they go to school and stuff like that of people giving them credit cards and having them buy stuff that they know they can't afford and all that stuff. Like, we having these conversations. And when I see a 15-year-old, like, you just old enough to buy a box of cereal. Okay? They just letting you come in the store right now to buy some cereal and some milk. And you up here talking to these other young folks about financial literacy. Shut your mouth and keep on talking. You better go ahead, boy. You better go ahead. It was good. It was good to see. In the midst of what Young Thug had going on, that was definitely some positivity that was in the air, because that, when I tell y'all that Joker was so confident in himself. He was confident when he spoke, like it was. I tell you, he had a little Obama in him. I'm telling you, I can see it. We're gonna speak that into existence. We're gonna speak that. He might be in somebody's courtroom. He might be sitting up in the White House. We're gonna speak that one into existence, because that boy got some things going on. Yeah, we're gonna speak that one. So y'all check that out. But again, ultimately they denied bail today, and he's going to be in there. And the judge did say that he understands the circumstances. Oh, let me give you another similarity too. One of the things that was pointed out was the attorneys talked about unsafe conditions and how him being locked up was it's not psychologically sound. Like, it would affect him psychologically being locked up like that. And okay, that's the one argument that attorneys make. And when they do it with celebrities, I'm always looking at them like sideways, like, huh? Like, why would you say it? And I know it's all par for the course, but like, why would you say that? Because you got all these other people in here that are in an uncomfortable situation too. Like, I feel like it makes the judge be like, okay, who the flip you think you're like, you locked up? It's not supposed to be comfortable. Because that's what I would be thinking if I was a judge. It's like, you locked up. We know it's not comfortable. So that's something that they had said today too. And basically, yeah, the judge said that, like, yeah, we know it's not comfortable. We know. Um, so I remember that being said in another situation too. So, you know, the game don't really change too much. You have different players in it, but the game is still the same. But I think this one's going to be. I'm waiting to see how many other celebrities are going to come up and support him, because based on how the attorneys presented stuff today, it almost seemed like it was going to be an attack on rap music, because they were literally pulling his lyrics. So we're gonna have to see how this one goes. Now they did say that there was some stuff that happened with him in the past. He has never like officially been convicted of anything, right? So I think he had possession of a stolen handgun before. Nothing really happened with that. Um, there was some kind of traffic thing that he had something to do with. Nothing really happened with that. He had some other stuff that he was involved in, but the stuff was put on hold. Um, and so, and he was already basically he was already on out on bond from another situation that happened. So technically, it's almost like being on well, I'm gonna not say probation, I'm gonna say parole. So you got stipulations that are in place. So technically, if you get in trouble or you get locked up again, and everything is revoked. So the stuff that was put in the place that was supposed to happen before you got bonded out, like all that stuff goes back into play. And that's one of the things that the state brought up. Like, look, he already on papers, and when you're already on papers, you really don't have too much leeway. Um, and he's dealing with another situation too, because he basically had to operate in two different court systems. So he saw this judge over here, and this judge is saying, okay, I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna see what happens with this one, since this one's gonna be the ultimate one that gets all this stuff, which was the judge today. um and it's just his attorneys gave it a good go. That's all I'm gonna say. They went in for him. They definitely went in for him. So, and one of them sitting up there looking like Anderson Cooper, his main one. He's sitting up there looking like Anderson Cooper. When I was looking at his head, that's the only thing I could think. You work for CNN. You got another job. Because I could have sworn that was Anderson Cooper. That's Anderson 360. So, yeah, you had that. And with any situation, a lot of people feel like people get surprised whenever they finally, like, they get verdicts and stuff like that in court. That's not how that works, y'all. The attorneys already talked to you. They pretty much let you know what your odds are. Like, they try to prepare you for what's gonna go on. Like, you don't just go in there blindsided. They tell you, like, 9 times out of 10, like, this is what the judge is gonna do. And they'll, at best, this may happen. At worst, this is gonna happen. APZ, what's going on, lady? At worst, this is what's gonna happen. So you don't go in there like blindsided. Now I'm speaking to you from this aspect, just being a former probation and parole officer. Um, with certain situations and with him being on some type of papers. Now that part I can actually speak to. Um, because I know for us, before we went to court, um, and I told you guys this before, but most of the decisions were made before we even went to the courtroom, especially if it was a situation where a jury wasn't involved. So you already have the back and forth and the conversations behind the scenes, basically between the defense and the prosecutors, the attorneys, not the actual clients, just the attorneys. Um, and if law enforcement is involved, then whoever's representing law enforcement. In my case, I was the probation person. So I knew what we were asking for. If we were ruling them back in on violation, if it was we call it a rule to show. It's a rule to show cause. So if I'm bringing you back in on the rule to show, then I know what I'm bringing you back in on, and I know what I'm asking the court for. So I'm going to take that stuff, type up my affidavits, type up my rules and all that stuff. We're going to take it over to the clerk of court. We're going to stamp this stuff, get our copies out to whoever the copies need to go out to. And before I go and I'm typing this stuff in, we've already had some conversations. Okay, we're going to do this. Nah, that's too much. We'll consider this. Okay, well, what about this? Okay, well, we can bend on this one right here, but he definitely going to get this, or she definitely going to get this. Like, we're not bending on this. These are conversations that happen oftentimes before this stuff ever take place. And like I said, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Because I know the people that we were dealing with, if I had to violate somebody, they didn't. That's just so. But on their lawyers' end, after we had those discussions, they kind of let them know, like, okay, this is what you're facing when you go in there. They had those conversations with them. So it wasn't like, this stuff was a complete surprise. You see some people come in, they were already dressed a certain way because they knew they were going up the road. So they didn't come wearing, all their nice clothes and all that stuff because they ain't want nobody getting their stuff. You would have some that they had good attorneys. They weren't using public defenders. They actually went and got attorneys. So those people, they tend to come in a little bit, different. They a bit more polished, coming in dressed appropriately and stuff like that, and because they feel like they got a chance, and a lot of them did. Their attorneys were able to do something different. Now, keep in mind, every system is different, but those conversations that I'm talking about that usually took place, those were like with these are state people, okay? So you got your public defender over here, you got your solicitor over here. So these were all people that work for the state. Everybody worked for the state. Everybody worked for the government. So, but when you have that private attorney, those private attorneys, they usually they aren't included in those conversations most of the time. So, their stuff gets handled a little bit different, and that's just me being honest with y'all. So, just looking at how that stuff was, I don't think that he was surprised today. I'm pretty sure the other guy that was up there, he wasn't surprised today. The judge told him whatever it was, and he just got up and he was getting ready to go, and they talked about the arraignment and all that kind of stuff. I may have to turn this light. Let me turn this light on. So that's just me giving y'all a little background, some little behind the scenes stuff of how some of that stuff works out. Just as far as the judge, I mean, he's looking and he's listening at what the attorneys are saying, but ultimately, realistically, he knew he wasn't gonna let him go home. Not today. Not today. And if he did, even though the attorneys, that they were very compelling, he would have had to answer, well, why did you let this guy go? And he's involved in this huge RICO case. Like, so it's, the lawyers already knew everybody knew what they were up against from the beginning. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that. So I'm probably going to be bringing y'all information from that particular case, because that got, I'm a bit intrigued with that one, because I want to see what's going to, let me turn this light on, y'all. Hold up. Eee. Okay. So, now, we're not going to forget about Miss Amber and Mr. And her name is Amber. It's not Amber. She is Amber. We're not going to forget about Miss Amber and Mr. Johnny over here, because they still got some stuff going on. So both of them issued statements yesterday. We'll go with Johnny's first. So, he just thanked people and said this stuff has been going on for 6 years, and he's glad that he finally had a chance to say whatever he had to say. and that the truth finally came out, the truth prevailed, you know, all that good stuff. It was about 2 or 3 pages, I believe. But Miss Amber, Amber Waves of Green, okay? Miss Amber. Miss Amber put her statement out there, and this is what I don't like, okay? As someone that has had to work with victims of abuse, as someone who has had to work with and I'm trying to make sure I word this right, because y'all know how people are with these things. Okay. With someone who has worked with the victim and the perpetrator, I knew she was going to go there with her statement. I absolutely knew she was going to go there with her statement. And this is what I don't like. Okay, so she said that she was very sad about what happened. Okay, I get that. Rightfully so. You thought you were going to win, especially being, you know, a bit of a narcissist. Well, not a bit of a narcissist, but that narcissistic injury is real. You know, a narcissist always feel like they can win. They always feel like they can talk their way out of a situation. So that was a bit different for her to be back in the corner, and for her antics to not, basically for people not to go along with her antics. Okay, so she said that this was a disappointment and basically a slight for all women and for all victims. But she touched on that women thing more than anything. And this is what I have a problem with, because just because you're in a specific situation, you don't represent all women. That's just one thing that I want to make abundantly clear. You got your situation going on, but you do not represent all women. And every individual case is different. That key word, individual. Every individual case is different. And what you did in your situation, you were representing Amber. You were representing yourself. You were not representing all women. You were not representing victims of any type of violence or assault. You were representing yourself. Because nobody else was sitting there. Nobody else went through that stuff with you. If you went through it, nobody was on that stand with you. You're representing yourself. And when you lose, you losing by yourself. No other women, like, they're not. I'm sorry. People are going to be scared to come out and tell the truth now. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because based on what she did, it's going to make more people want to come out and tell the truth. It's going to be the opposite of what she said. They're going to be scared to tell the truth. No, they're not. They're going to want to come out and tell their truth. Because they saw you get up on that stand and lie like that. Because they saw Johnny get up there and say whatever he had to say and tell his truth. No, it wasn't a lose for women. It might have been a loss for you. But it was not a lose situation for women everywhere. It absolutely was not. See, that's gaslighting again. Even with all the stuff that happened, she still has not learned her lesson. She is still gaslighting people. Still gaslighting people to this day. She is still gaslighting people. Like, that is your problem. You were the one that presented your stuff in a manner. Don't let me forget, y'all, because one of the juries actually spoke up today. One of the jurors, actually spoke up today. Just because you presented yourself in a way that people felt like they could not believe you. And y'all know I always say on here, you have to be careful what you do, because one lie can erase all truths. Everything that you're saying could be true, but once you throw one lie up in there, people question everything you say and everything you do. She messed herself up. She said Johnny's team fooled everybody and it wasn't a brainwash. Nobody was brainwashed. The only person that I feel tried to brainwash somebody was her. But that's just my opinion. Let me pause for a minute. If y'all have not hit that like button, take a little second to hit that like button. Because y'all know sometimes we be watching videos, and I ain't saying it's y'all. But sometimes we be watching videos and we be listening and stuff, and we don't think about hitting that like button. But I'm just a little girl from the country on here talking to y'all, you know, on the back porch. You know, just asking you to hit that like button if you hadn't hit it already. Just thank you for whoever just hit that like button. May the Lord God bless you real good. Real good. Thank you. But it's just something with her, and even just a lot of it. I mean, Sabrina, how you doing? I don't feel like she's setting other people back. Now, if she didn't come across the way that she came across, if she didn't present herself the way that she did, if she didn't try to manipulate the court, if she didn't try to manipulate the jury, then I feel like if she wouldn't have done those things and she lost, now you talking about, okay, well, this is a setback, or like whatever. But no, that wasn't the case. Everything about what she did is the exact reason why she lost. And we're saying lost because, I mean, technically, Johnny won on everything that he put out there. And the only thing that she was awarded for, hey, Shannon, how you doing? The only thing that she was awarded for really didn't have anything to do with her. The only thing that she was awarded for, oh my God, nasty, arrogant. The only thing that she was awarded for, the only thing that gave her credit for was the fact that Johnny Depp's attorney put something out there that he could not prove. And if he wouldn't have said her and her friends did, blah, 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 she wouldn't have got a dime. Now, before I continue on with that, let me go back to the juror that came out and said something. So, got my head cut off. The juror wanted to remain anonymous, right? But he came on, him or her, from the way, well, it's to him because he did a video too. He did a little short video, didn't show his face. This was immediately after court. And he was talking about how he felt about the whole situation. And then he actually answered some questions on TikTok. He let people ask him about the trial or whatever. So one of the things when he first got in the car, first he was glad it was over. But y'all know the thing that we were all talking about, how we were talking about her looking at the jury and all the dramatics with the jury. He was like, at one point she kept staring at him. And he said that he said it was unnatural. Girl, you know, get on Auntie Elaine. You know she coming. You know she coming with her 15 minutes of fame. We gonna get on her too. But he said that it was so unnatural and it made them so uncomfortable. And he was like, yeah, she looked at me and I kept, like, he said, I intentionally did not look at her. He said, I was listening. He said, I was all ears. I was listening. He said, but I couldn't look at her. Like, I did not like that she kept looking. He said she was looking at him. Like, she kept looking at me. It made, I don't know what comedian said it. She didn't say nothing. She just looked at me. Like, that's kind of what I got from him. Like, will you please? It's so uncomfortable for somebody to just keep looking at you and you not talking to them and you ain't saying nothing to them, like, and they just staring at you. But he said that was like real unnatural. He said she was a liar. Well, he said, yeah, she was such a liar. With the questions that people were asking, I can't remember everything he said on the video, but the questions that people were asking, they asked him how did he feel about her looking at the jury so much, and that's when he was like, it was creepy. That they asked were the other jurors bothered by it too. He was like, yeah, like everybody felt like it was unnatural, like it was weird. I'm like, yeah, y'all listen, okay, I'm saying this. If you ever worked in some type of law enforcement field or correctional field or whatever, or just certain things, like you get weirded out by people staring at you all the time, because it's not acceptable. So I probably would have been really uncomfortable. What you look at? What you looking at? Or just get ignorant, like, how people look at you so hard and you be like, that would have been me. That would have been me on the jury stand. They would have kicked me out. What you looking at? I'm playing. But so they said they were uncomfortable. He said they were uncomfortable with that. They asked, did they catch her? Did they, like, some of the lies that she was telling, did they actually catch, some of that while they were on the stand? And they asked him, like, what was the one thing that she said that make you say, you know what, she's a liar. Like, everything from this point on, she's a liar. He said the moment that she made that comment and looked at them and tried to tell them that pledging and donating was the same thing, he was like, I'm done. I'm done, son. I'm done. So it was amazing. You know, we were watching it on the outside. So we got a different perspective. And that's like the good thing about it, because when you're outside, y'all know they always say hindsight is 2020 and all that stuff. When you're outside, you get to see a little bit more than what the jurors see on the inside. So we get to see everybody else's perspectives on it, and, you know, see other stuff that we might have missed, but other people saw it. The jurors didn't get to see that. So just them sitting right there and to hear them like, yeah, we saw that mess. It's like when she tried to tell us about that pledge and donating thing, I was done. I was done, son. You gonna tell me a pledge and a donation is the same thing? I feel that the court should pledge to give her $2 million. Let's keep it going. Let's stick with the wordplay, okay? It's all about the wordplay. Pledge to give her $2 million, okay? Give Johnny his 10.35 or 85, whatever. Give him his. Donate it to him, okay? Give him an immediate cash donation. And I know the money not coming from the court, but still. Give him his cash donation and pledge Amber's money, okay? Pledge to give her $2 million. Since they're the same thing, okay? Or let Johnny pledge to give it to her. Don't give it to her, but just let him pledge to give it to her. Untold Truth, how you doing? Just let him pledge to give her $2 million. Don't come after him from that money, because that pledge lasts forever, okay? It does not have an expiration date. That's what they said during the trial. It don't have an expiration date, so you can't come pressuring him about that $2 million that he owes her, okay? Just let him pledge and go on about his business. In the meanwhile, Johnny's in the UK living his best life up on the stage like a whole darn Guns and Roses thing going on. Like, he living his best life. He is not worried about this woman. But, y'all, the jury, I'm trying, okay, see how I get sidetracked. Okay, let me go back. Let me see. What else did they ask him? They asked him something about the makeup kit. And he was like, yeah, I didn't pay that any attention. Oh, they asked him, how did they come up with the 15 million? And he said that, how did they come up with 15 versus 50 million? Like, they said the number was so random. And he said basically it was all about a compromise. And you pretty much know that, because you're going to have one or two jurors that's like, you know what? You know, they're going to be Team Amber. They're going to be a little skeptical. Yeah, she might have lied about this, but what if she wasn't lying about that? And that's what you're supposed to do, right? Sir Miguel, you're a former social worker. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hey, family. Hey, family. So he was like, there was a compromise. They had to compromise. And that's why, because they said, why did y'all come up with that amount, and why did y'all award her something? Because the people that kind of, you had at least somebody that felt like there was mutual defamation. That's what they said, what they called it, mutual defamation. So they felt like they need to give her something. But it's like, we're not going to sit here and say that this man did this stuff to you now, but we can give you defamation for this, because that attorney got on that stand, Walden got on that stand, and actually said that he did this stuff. So, like, there's no argument in that. So they gave her that little $2 million on that. That was the compromise. You got to, you know, you got to compromise. You got to give a little something. But he said he was 100% Johnny. Like, he was 100%. Like, Amber, you know, you come in and you want to see the best in people. But, I mean, she was a mess on the first day. She was a mess from the M to the S. She was a whole mess. She was a whole mess. From the front to the back, she was a mess. She was a mess. Tell her to stop her friend Gail. Now she's deaf. Untold, let me speak on that, because I didn't get to see it, but I saw that one of the YouTubers had a picture up there saying the news is trying to spin this for her, and I saw Gail's picture up there, and I'm like, is Gail back at it again? Gail. Come, Gail. It's Johnny Lion Gail. Y'all know how Gail do. And that's my thing again. It's not that you're going against people, but there has to be some type of some type of understanding that at the end of the day, yeah, when the Me Too movement came out, yeah, you want to, believe people and give people, women in particular, a chance. What's up, Jersey girl? A chance to say something, and you want people to believe them. But we got to be clear on something. It's not just about believing women. You know what I'm saying? And I know as a woman that may sound bad coming from me, but everybody lies. Everybody. So it's not, you don't have to believe everything people say. No, that would make you foolish. Everything? No. No. And we cannot overlook the fact that some people are vindictive. We cannot overlook that. We cannot overlook the fact that we have full blown narcissists, male and female. And if they have a chance, if you don't do things the way that they want you to do them, if you don't march to the beat of their drum, if you don't go and give them that praise that they want, if you don't make them feel like they're the best in the whole wide world, if you try to walk away from that narcissist, if you try to declare your independence in regards to that narcissist, to let them know that you live in your own life, like you're not going to rule me, that narcissist is going to lash out. And what they usually do, if they can damage your reputation, if they can tarnish your reputation, if there's anything that they can do to try to make you look bad or to make people doubt you, they're going to come for you. And they usually do it publicly. That's why, just keeping that in mind, I'm not going to believe everything you put out there. When you say something, I don't care if you're male, I don't care if you're female, I don't care if you're Obama, I don't care if you're Biden, I don't care if you're Trump, I don't care if you're Donald Duck. I'm looking at it. I'm going to question everything that you say. I ain't got to question everything out in the open. I'm just going to go, I'm going to look, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to observe. I'm like, well, your actions ain't met. Okay, go ahead, though, go off. Like, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything. And if at the end of the day, if that stuff meshes up, if it all goes together, then we'll go ahead and run with it. But just because you said it, I'm not going to automatically take your word for it if stuff isn't matching up. That's just, I think with that particular thing, it's some things are just not all or nothing. That's just where I stand on that. In this case is the prime example, because people, they wrote Johnny Depp off. Like, they muted him. He was canceled. He was a victim of the cancel culture. They wrote him off. And now you have people sitting here, eating crow. And they got to act like, they're all happy for him now when they were, one of the ones that wrote him off. And now you're sitting up here and you see it wasn't. I think somebody said one time that it's something to the effect that the loudest barrel is usually the most emptiest barrel. And I'm not saying that right, y'all. This is where I need Pico to come in, because I know he know exactly what I'm talking about with the words. But basically, that the barrel that's the most empty makes the most noise, because there's nothing else in there like padding that. So it's just this one little thing rolling around here, and it's making the most noise. And that's what I'm looking at in this situation. But that juror put, he put some things out there. I'm hoping that some other ones come out, and I'm just hoping that even if they don't show their face, if they want to remain anonymous like this person did, but I think that was a good thing. He put a lot of things in perspective with that. She's at it again. She said it's messing things up for me too. Oh Lord. She said people are now looking down on. People were already looking down on Me Too. And the thing is with Me Too, and I did a video about this, like, it's been about 3 years ago. When Me Too was first started, Me Too was about something. Okay? We're going to go ahead and have this conversation. And it was created by a black woman. Me Too was originally created by a black woman. And what happened with Me Too is somebody came and hijacked her movement, and they made it into something else. They turned that movement into what they wanted it to be. The Me Too, exactly, Jersey Girl. It got hijacked. The Me Too that was originally started is not the Me Too that is running around here now. It's not the same thing. That is not what she intended this movement to be. It wasn't something, and just in all honesty, just like this situation with Johnny, Me Too is not just for women. It's not. And that's where there was a when Amber was on that video and she made the comment like, go ahead, Johnny, go ahead and tell the world that you, a man, that you were abused too, that you were also abused too. People took that as her saying that she was abused and he was abused. That's not how I took that. She was using that as a Me Too reference, saying, go ahead and tell them that you were abused too. Like me too, T-O-O, me too, I was abused. Not saying that both of us got abused. Tell them as a man. And this is like where, and I don't know where him too is right now, but see, this is where I wish that the young ladies that started this him too thing, that it went outside of like what they originally were doing it for, because this would be something perfect for them to be working on right now. Because this is a situation where it is like a him too. You know what I mean? Not like, it is a him too. Oh, she was a mess. She was a mess. She was a mess. And the lawyers made it clear, you know, you talking about me. It's not a me too. There is no me. He is the me. Him is the me. It's not you. It's not you. But go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead and tell the world that I, a man, Johnny Depp, I too have been abused. Come on, girl. What you? So yeah, they took that movement and they use it as a weapon against people that they wanted to go after. Now, some of the people that they were going after, I'm not saying they didn't need to go after them, but you don't take somebody's movement that they created to do good and take it and start weaponizing that to go after people that I mean, if it's legit, then you do what you got to do, but you don't have to do it under the guise of Me Too. Go ahead and do whatever you got to do. Just don't go and hijack somebody's stuff and then try to use it in a different way. Don't do that. So they basically, and I mean, she's not the one that's getting the credit for it now. You know, y'all just went and did what y'all wanted to do with it and turn it into this big Hollywood thing, and it wasn't about Hollywood. It wasn't about the casting couch, even though people started talking about the casting couch. It wasn't about the casting couch. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't about Harvey. It wasn't about Jeffrey. It wasn't about these people, even though they got pulled into it. That's not what it was about. These people, if you were going to go after them, you go after them whether there's a Me Too or not. If they were that deep involved in stuff, you go after them like regardless. It doesn't have to be under some organization or whatever. You go after them because you need to go after them. Period. Point blank. Like, don't go hijacking somebody else's stuff. And child, don't get me started on that. Amber and Elaine keep talking about things said about her baby, but they had no sympathy for Johnny's kids. She had me so tickled talking about, they said they're going to put my baby in a microwave. I'm like, girl, out of all the crazy stuff you saying, how these people going to get your baby to put it in the microwave? Like, stop it. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, and then Elaine, she made it a point. She came at Morgan, the dude from the former TMZ employee, and she came after the guy that used to work at Hicksville, talking about, you know this is on TV, right? And you know there are cameras. So I guess you just wanted to get your 15 minutes of fame. Now, y'all remember, we played the other night where the little former TMZ guy was like, well, you know, I could say the same thing about you. Would you accept Amber Heard as a client, that you're trying to get your 15 minutes? And she was like, a little argumentative, aren't we? He was like, no, I don't think so. Okay. Elaine trying to get her 15 minutes. Look here. Elaine, Auntie went on a whole tour this morning, okay? Auntie went on a Save Amber tour. I got it. Auntie went on an Amber Alert tour. Okay. She said she basically called, I'm saying basically because this is not exactly what she said, but she basically called the judge incompetent. She called the jurors incompetent. She calling everybody incompetent. She said that they allowed stuff in that shouldn't have been allowed. I'm like, yeah, some of the BS that y'all did, some of the mess that y'all had going on, yeah, they allowed some mess up in there. But Auntie, and look, oh my God, y'all. I looked at that video. I said, "Who is that?" I said, "Hopper, who that woman?" She was all dolled up for TV. She ain't look like that not one day in court. No shade, no shade at all. She was cute on the news. I'm like, who is that? That ain't Auntie Elaine. That's cousin Elaine right there. That's cutting. That's cutting Elaine. They had Elaine all dolled up. Her little hair had little fringe edges, had edges, had little layers up in there and stuff. She had on one of them kits that Amber be wearing. The little she had on one of the bruise kits. Had a little mascara, you know. Maybe it's Maybelline or Milani. But yeah, she right. Y'all got me throwing out them cute old hooks. That's what they had was throwing out them cute old. Like don't do it on this side. They ain't got no throwing. That thing was throwing out that cute old hook. Um, she kept comparing it to the UK trial. Exactly, exactly. And Jersey Girl, yes. She talking about, well, now that this happened, that some other stuff. Okay, the UK system and the US judicial system, two completely different systems. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. The US does not honor, okay? The US courts, they don't honor any kind of judgment that came out of the UK. Stop gaslighting people. That's what she doing. She doing the gaslight. She was doing it in the courtroom too. But, well, all attorneys gaslight. We're going to be honest. But stop telling these people that. Amber is ready for an appeal. Oh, this was a great setup for an appeal. Go on, sit down, Auntie. Go on, sit down. Stop telling them people this stuff. Getting these people hopes up, because y'all know how people do. Y'all tell them one thing, they gonna run. Oh, Auntie Elaine said that she gonna win her appeal. And listen, that woman said, that woman said, does she have the $10 million to pay Johnny? Auntie Elaine said real quick, no, she does not. All I can hear was Tasha K in the background. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. All I thought about, I'm thinking about Eddie Kane when he come busting out the 5 Heartbeats talking about you ain't getting it because you ain't got it. I ain't got it. Now, she done went and got her this multi-million-dollar new place that her and the little baby's supposed to be staying in and stuff. And yeah, the people in Australia, you know, the FBI and other folks involved in that, because you know you're talking about some international stuff with her lying about those dogs, okay? You about to be banned from a whole other continent, lying about some dogs. Yes, yes, we not gonna even talk about the arnica cream, and I use that cream too. And y'all, okay, okay. One of the things I noticed was like some of the stuff that was being put out there. There was a comparison, and I can't remember what show it was on, but they tried to bring black women into it. Like the next thing you know, what did they say? Now that this happened, black women need to be careful, because now they didn't do this to Amber, they're gonna be coming after black women. What on the Sam Hill? What does whatever Amber got going on have to do with black women? Other than her claiming our products. And I'm saying, all right, y'all, forgive me for a second. You know good and well you was not using that Milani on your face. And then when you said you were using it, it hadn't even come out yet, the brand that you said that you were using. And that arnica cream, see, we the ones that got to worry about scars and bruises and all this stuff. You were not. And it does not work in 2 days. It don't work in 2 months, really. Like, don't, don't stop it. Stop it. She was doing too much. She doing, that's what my friends say. You're doing too much. She was doing too much. She was doing, I'm just sitting here like, what else, Amber? What else? I was watching. I was watching how she was wearing that weave in her hair too. That's like so petty, right? Yeah, but I was watching. I was like, that hair getting thick about a day. That hair getting thick about a day. Now, since I'm in petty land for a minute, that little day that she had her hair up in that little swoop, I was feeling that whole hairstyle. People said it looked like the little poop thing, the little poop emoji, but I was straight feeling that hairstyle. I'm all about hair. I was feeling that little hairstyle. They said it looked like a little question mark. They said like a little question mark at the top. Yeah, I was feeling that hairstyle. No lies told. No lies told. I ain't gonna amber y'all, okay? Now when people lying and stuff like that, I'm gonna say, oh, you trying to amber me? I ain't gonna amber y'all on that. I ain't gonna amber y'all. That's my equivalent of no cap, okay? No amber. No amber. No, I ain't gonna amber y'all. I like the hairstyle. True story, I like the hairstyle. But I was just sitting here like, God. God, Amber, God, Auntie, like she was all over the place. You know. I When I took a break from watching stuff with Young Thug, I click on here and there go Auntie sitting up on the TV. And I didn't even know that was her at first. Kid you not. I did not know that was her. And I looked and I was like, wait a minute. Not wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that Auntie? I be darned, that's Auntie. Auntie had a whole new look. She done hit Patty and got a new attitude, y'all. Came up in there. I was like, she would have did a little stuff up. I don't know. That might have made a difference in court, y'all. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, she cleaned up nice. She cleaned up nice. She cleaned up nice. Had a foundation right and all that stuff, you know. Go ahead, Auntie. You ain't an auntie no more. Now you cousin. You cousin Elaine. But yeah, she did that now. Now. And I'm gonna close that part out by saying Elaine, Auntie, couldn't. Now you went and tried to make everybody seem like they were trying to get their 15 minutes. And now you go running up on these TV shows and on these TV stations, getting your 15 minutes, your 5 minutes, however much time they're giving you. Okay, now you try to put these other people out, but don't get it twisted now, because I saw the guy, the former TMZ guy, Morgan. I saw him on a couple of YouTube channels doing some interviews, so he's making his little rounds too. I'm like, go on ahead, boy. And he ain't trying to get no money or nothing from it, like nothing like that. But he made his little rounds. He talking to people. I'm like, y'all go ahead, because if Elaine can talk to people, if Auntie can go talk to people, then y'all can go talk to people too. Go on. Tell them what you saw. Tell them everything. Tell them everything you saw. Tell them what the people were doing. Tell the whole story. Now, I'm going to go back to another story that I had brought y'all a little bit earlier. This thing with Monique and DL. What do y'all think? Because I see this mess keeps going on. And I'm at an hour and 20, oh Lord, 24 minutes. Okay. Let me make sure I got to get ready to make my exit. People keep showing this story. And y'all, I'm not a huge Monique fan. And DL, he's all right. You know, I feel like he can be a bit controversial when it comes to a lot of things. But I am really tired of people telling Monique that she should have handled stuff a certain way, and nobody's addressing him and saying that he could have handled stuff a different way. I don't know. But I see people won't let it die down. They won't let it die down, because once one posts a video, then the other one come back with a video. Everybody got to show their receipts. And I'm like, again, once you say what you got to say, go on about your business and leave it alone. You already proved your point, whatever point it is you're trying to make. Say whatever you got to say and go about your business. before both of y'all end up in court and we'll be watching another defamation case. Okay. We'll be watching another defamation case. Um, One of the things that people are saying that Monique was wrong about is going after making a comment about DL's wife and, participating in some kind of activities, with her husband, you know, with the mouth and saying that, you doing that on a coward. Basically, y'all can fill in the lines. And people were like, she was wrong for bringing his wife into it. Um, But then you go back and you hear clips from when she went on his show when they were asking, and she kind of alluded to the idea that he may be gay. Um, I don't think anybody believes that, but she gonna put it out there. Y'all know how comics do. Um, but you hear clips from his show when he's interviewing her, and then they go and say something about her husband, and would you rather he sleep with I forgot what the guy's name was, but sleep with this guy with no condom or sleep with this person. Now, aren't you questioning her husband's sexuality? Like, I don't see the difference. And she was offended by it. And this happened years ago. Y'all know with certain things we don't forget. We don't forget. So I'm just sitting up here and I'm like, I just feel like on both ends, both hush your mouth, go on about your business. The promoter got both of y'all jacked up. Y'all done said what y'all had to say, go ahead and leave it alone. And y'all can agree to disagree. And if you don't want to talk anymore, that's fine. Like, whatever. But just go on about your business. That's just where I'm at on it. That's my 5 cents on it. Okay. I think that was the last one I was supposed to be touching on. Um, Oh, one last thing. They did have a mass shooting a couple days ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, and I think 4 people were killed, some other people were injured. And I told y'all I don't like coming on because it's like every time you come on YouTube, especially you see something about a mass shooting. And in this particular situation, we wait to see who the person was. And I saw him and I saw his eyes. I was like, oh my. But he had a letter on him. And basically, this person, he was a patient of one of the surgeons there. I didn't see what kind of surgeon he was, but the the doctor operated on his back, so I'm going to assume that he was an orthopedic surgeon. I could be wrong. I stand corrected. Um, but the guy had the surgery. Um, he was still complaining of back pain, saying he had a lot of pain. They said he kept calling up there, kept calling the office day after day after day. I think the doctor saw him one time. They basically didn't do anything for him. He was just talking about he was in excruciating pain. And he went to a store. He purchased a gun. He was supposed to have an AR-15 style rifle. I'm like, is it just coincidence that everybody getting an AR-15 style rifle? Just saying. And a handgun. And bought some rounds. And he went there looking for the doctor to kill him. And he killed anybody that got in his way. And if he didn't kill him, he hurt him. Like anybody that got in his way. I don't know what happened with them, but I will say this for anybody that is in the healthcare field, allied health, mental health, um, any type of healthcare field, just customer service, whatever it is. And again, I'm not saying this is a situation with them, but be mindful about how you treat people. Be mindful about how you treat people. And you gotta remember, you never know what a person's state of mind is. You know. And again, I don't know that anybody said anything to him out of the way, but um, if you worked in this kind of field before, then you know that people can show out. And in this culture that we're in right now, you don't know how far they're gonna take it when they feel like they haven't been properly served or their needs are being overlooked or um, whatever. So just make sure that at least on your end that are handling things in a professional way, and it should always be about the continuity of care when it comes to a client or a patient. So just just remember that. Chocolate chip, you said he was what? He was he was handling him correctly, or how was he in all that pain, holding out on firearms and that kind of thing? Untold truth, let me tell you something. All jokes aside, um, the people that are familiar with my channel, they know my story, but I broke my back. Well, I didn't break it, but my back was broken in a car accident. I got smashed between two trucks and my back was broken. Um, I was up walking. I was up walking. Now I couldn't. It was a mess. But you know what? It's like sometimes you in so much pain that the pain don't even matter no more. That I can tell you. Y'all see I'm leaning over right now. I didn't even realize I was doing it. Um, but just looking at his eyes, to like, I don't know, because, and I want to get some more of the story too, because they say he kept going back asking for more treatment. So my first thought, just dealing with people with substances, my first thought was he trying to get pain medication and they wouldn't give him the pain medication? um, or was he like really trying to get a resolution? Because any of you that have ever had like serious back pain, because I deal with that to this day, like to this day, um, and like it can be crippling and just debilitating, like y'all. Oh my gosh. Um, but I've had several procedures done on my several on my back. I was getting steroids for 4 years. In my back. Um, I've had branchial surgery. I've had my nerve endings burned, so I can't feel pain. And my pain receptor sites, like they not sending the messages out that there's actually pain in a certain area, which is a good temporary. It lasts for 3 years. Um, like when you get to a certain level, it's like, to some people, like, I don't know, and I'm not making any excuses for him because I don't know what he had going on. But when I looked at his eyes in the picture that they showed, and y'all know that we try to find the worst picture that we can find. Like he looked like he was out of it, and that would have been a lot of. It was orthopedic surgeon, chocolate chip. That's okay. That's what I was thinking. Um, it. I don't know. That one, I'm definitely gonna go back and read up on that story some more, so that I can make sure I'm putting the right information out on that one. But that's the first thing that I thought, that he was med seeking, and I know that's not the first thing that you should be thinking, but that's just like that's where I come from. So that was the first thing that I thought, like he's trying to get, some little pain medicine or whatever, and they won't give it to him. Um, but even with that, if somebody just had surgery, they just had back surgery, they usually get pain medication. And a lot of times they send you to, and that was the thing too, because I didn't see what kind of person it was. So I'm like, is he actually going to an orthopedic surgeon, or is he going to a pain management center? Because there's a difference. I've seen people, I've had clients um, that had back surgery or needed back surgery. They had been told that they needed back surgery by orthopedic specialists, but then they elected to go to a pain management center, not realizing that when you go to a pain management center, it's just for that. It's for pain management, period. It's not treating what you have going on. It's not going to make you any better. What it's going to do is it's going to handle that pain that you have at that particular moment. Been there, done that. So you getting stuck with needles, you getting like you got all kind of stuff going on, because their job is to deal with the pain. You go into that pain management center, that pain management specialist is usually, like 9 times out of 10, they're not an orthopedic specialist. They're not an orthopedic surgeon. So all they're gonna do is they're gonna look at your stuff on different, run different tests, different scans, and all that stuff, and they're gonna see what, look at that. Okay, we see something here. We see something on your L5. We see something going on right here on your L4. Like they looking at that stuff, and they they gonna jab you accordingly. So that's why I thought, well, maybe he went to a pain management specialist and he didn't, like, I don't know what he had going on. Yeah, but I'm gonna see if they I'm pretty sure somebody gonna post the letter that he wrote. I'd be interested in seeing what that letter said that he had on him. So if anybody like sees that letter, email it to me so I can see it, please. Please and thank you. So, okay. What time is it? All right. I believe that's it. I believe I done gave y'all all the news, and I think we are caught up. At least what's going on right now. I ain't getting into that other stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I ain't getting in that stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with me. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay, so they ain't got nothing to do with me. They said in the press conference he was seeking me. Oh, okay. See that now? That makes sense. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Um, just working in mental health. I tell y'all this before I go. Um, working in mental health. I'm not untold truth. I promise you. Um, working in mental health, I had a lot of people that would go to their PCPs. They would go to them, and they've been going to them for years. And basically, they would go to these doctors, their primary care physicians, and you know, certain doctors, after they get to know you for so long, you can go in there and basically tell them what you have going on. They're not even checking you for stuff. Like, you tell them what your symptoms are, and if they know you like that, they'll just go ahead and prescribe you something. I know, like my doctor, I can say, you know what, I got a sinus infection, or I got an upper respiratory infection. I don't even have to go in. Sometimes they'll just call it in. Um, and so you had a lot of people that were, and this was before the government really started cracking down on these controlled substances. But they would go to these doctors, and the doctors would get them strung out, and it wasn't something that they were doing intentionally, um, but it was a temporary fix to pain. They weren't trying to cure anything; it was a temporary fix for pain. So they're getting people strung out on all this pain medication. Strung out. These right here on benzos, these on opiates. You got these over here on all kinds of barbiturates. Like, you got people all over, like, just strung out. And I say, I call it creating monsters. Like, they would create these monsters. And I'm not talking about the people themselves, but the behaviors that were coming out of the people with the med seeking. They were creating monsters. And when they got tired of them, or like the guy that went up there that was upset with the doctor, I'm feeling like at some point the doctor must have given him some medicine for him to go back asking for this stuff over and over again. He had to give him something at some point. So usually what happened with the doctors, they'll give them this medicine, and then when they get tired of them because they realize that they are med seeking, then they send them to us. They would get tired of me. Now you the physician. I'm just a PhD. You the physician, and now that you tired of dealing with them like that, now you want to send them over to me for treatment because you got them addicted to some painkillers, and you don't want to deal with them anymore, right? So now you got them coming over to me. I'm going to see them for a minute, and then after I'm seeing them, I'm going to send them to our psychiatrist. So they're going to go over in the next room because, you know, we do the treatment. The psychiatrist actually deals with the medication component of it. So we send them over there, and we're not giving you that stuff. Don't come bringing me what prescriptions you had from over here. No, you're not getting that stuff. And so now you got people going off on us, or maybe they're threatening a psychiatrist, or they just they leaving us because they see that they can't, excuse me, get it from us. So then they show up and at the emergency room crisis, so that they can go and they can see a doctor. And you'll have people that may be faking a panic attack. You'll have people that fake psychotic episodes. You'll have people that go in there and act like they have straight lost their mind trying to get medication. And if the hospital isn't familiar with them, then it works at the beginning. So they may come in a couple times, and then the doctor kind of sees, or a nurse usually sees what's going on, and then somebody call us Well, I'm gonna go if they up there in crisis anyway, but like if they just start coming on a regular, now they're gonna call us saying, look, we think this person is med seeking or whatever. They done came up here this many times, and now they didn't check with other people, other facilities, and they see that this person went from this county to this county, looking, because now your medical records are following you to this other place. And a lot of that stuff, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say at least 87 to 89% of the time, it's because the doctor started them on that stuff. And then when they got tired of it, when they got tired of dealing with them, when a person started becoming a problem for them, when they started aggravating them, and they sent them to us. They would send them to us. So that's the reason why at the beginning I'm like, I'm just thinking that he's med seeking. And the sad part about it is, I mean, I can say this now. I've had to treat doctors. I had to treat physicians that were addicted to pain medication. You writing your own prescription or getting other doctors or nurse practitioners to write your prescriptions, and now you addicted to pain medication, and now I'm having to treat you and your patients. So it's real. It's definitely real, and that's something to see. That, and like I said, I don't I'm not doing that with them anymore, so I can speak on this now. But I mean, even my doctor, my primary care physician, and I'm like, no, I can't see him. I saw him in crisis, but I didn't continue doing the individual therapy with him because to me that was a conflict. We weren't related or anything, but that was a conflict for me because just know that at this point you are no longer my doctor. I gotta go find me another doctor. I know that sound bad. True story though. Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, we're not doing this. I can't. I don't know if I can trust your professional opinion at this point. Now I see why you were just willing to write me something. I'm just saying. T-Ron, hey, how you doing? uh, but yeah. So that's why I was thinking that may have been what was going on with him. So um, it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And like I said, depending on what he was getting, you know, depending on what he was getting, because some of those highs, especially if you like mixing cocktails, mixing it with other stuff, you drinking or doing whatever, along with taking that medication, um, you creating your own little monster, you know. And then when you put pain on top of that, if he was truly in pain, then you creating an amber, you creating an amber alert, um, and that's sad. That's sad, and I feel like it. I don't know. Like he went in there knowing he wasn't coming back out. Like at that point, it was just like bump it. Like it's whatever. But I'm definitely gonna read up on that a little bit more. But yeah, I did think it had to do with him med seeking on that one. So that was, I guess, that was confirmation on that. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna get off here for real this time because I need to go take a shower. Be sitting up here smelling like outside. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Be smelling like outside. Y'all know outside got a smell. I ain't trying to say I smell like that, but I'm just saying I ain't trying to be smelling like outside. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys. I hope and pray he was saved. I know. And you see, that's another conversation. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I feel like when people are going through certain things, untold. I feel like when they're going through certain things, especially when it's something that starts messing with your mental, um, and I could be wrong. It's just my opinion, y'all. I feel like some of those things it gets to the point like God understands those things. Like He know, like if you on this, like He know you not in your right mind. You know what I mean? And it may not make sense, y'all. So you don't have to agree with me. This is just my thinking. Because a lot of stuff happens and people aren't in their right minds, and I'm like, I'm hoping that God won't punish them for that. when you're not, like, truly not in your right mind, even if it's substance induced. Because even with that, whenever you have a, like, it's a, people don't want to call it a sickness, but for some people it's a sickness. Lavelle, you right. It's gonna be all over the tube. Doc says she smell like outside. God gonna forgive me for it, cause I ain't in my right mind right now. Lord, let me not claim that. I promise I did not mean that. Um, but yeah, you know how they do. But yeah, I think I would hope with him being the just person that I'm saying person, the just being that I know that he is, that I believe that he is, that he would, because a lot of things that people do and they don't make sense to us. Usually, if somebody not in their right mind, it don't make sense to them either. They don't know why they doing it. They just doing it, and I ain't talking about just regular schmegular stuff. Like people that just want to be silly, but people that's just not in their right minds. And I know everybody has come in contact with somebody that you know what I mean, like. Y'all about to get me started. It's one thing to see somebody one day and they're fine, or to be that person that's fine one day, and the next day you have lost complete control of yourself. A lot of people think that people like that are acting. I've seen it and lived it. Not, I mean, not myself, but like every day. Like that's a, it's a hard thing for people to like take in. That's why you have so many problems with trying to get people to take their medication and staying on their medication once they start feeling better. And because it's just they can't deal with the fact that they can't control, or they have difficulty controlling their behaviors, their actions, their thoughts. Like it's hard for them. They can't really, and it would be hard for anybody to take that in, right? Because you used to being in control of this temple. You know what I'm saying? So to do stuff and not know why you did it, or to do stuff and you don't recall doing it, and you got other people telling you what you did, and you yourself can't even imagine that you would do that because that's not you. That's not the you that you know, or that's not the you that you were before you may have had that break or whatever you have going on. Yeah, this is a whole other conversation. I'm leaving this alone, child. If y'all want to have this conversation, this little discussion later, y'all let me know. Because I know people don't be wanting to hear about mental health stuff on here, child. They want the drama. But remember, that still doesn't mean he was saved, though. Because I've seen a lot of people on this black tube had me fooled regarding them believing it's. I don't know if he was saved. I don't know if he was saved. But I just, hope that whatever he had going on, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be one to question nobody's salvation. Y'all know what I try to stay away from that. But all I'm saying, talking about don't hide now. All I'm saying is that when you know better, you do better. And the expectations of your actions and what you do, they are a lot greater when you know better. A lot of times it's actually demonic or satanic, but most doctors don't know how to deal with it, so they medicate them. I've seen it. I think when it's at a level of being demonic, I think it's like at a different level. Like what he had going on, it could have been. I don't know. I don't know. But then I've seen people that were just truly sick. Like they were sick. Um, and I mean, honestly, a lot of stuff comes down to a chemical imbalance, and it really is a chemical imbalance. And whenever certain medications are given to balance some of those things out, then the person tends to get better. I think that when you see something that, like, because no doubt there are some demonic folks out here, or not even demonic folks, people that let that stuff get into them. You know what I mean? They let that stuff take over. Um, Prime example, Lavelle, I'm thinking about Dylan Roof, the guy that came and shot up our spot in Charleston. I feel like that had nothing to do with the mental illness, and he's never claimed that it was a mental illness. I think that was just straight evil. That was the devil. For you to be able to go and sit in a church, listen to the preacher, be around all these spiritual people, sit in Bible study, listen to all these teachings, have conversations with people, just like the young guy did that just shot up this school. The 18-year-old sat down with the black guy. He had something against black people. Um, he had something against people in general. Let me not just say black people. But I mean, he had some racist stuff going on. Not the school. I'm sorry. The grocery store, the supermarket. Not the school. That actually had the N word etched on his gun. He sat outside and talked to a black guy for hours the day before. So when I see people like that kind of stuff, I don't think it has anything to do with a mental illness. Now, when you hear the people on the TV talk about it, depending on who it is, then they may say that it's a mental illness. I'm going to say anybody that goes and does something like that definitely has something going on. You got something going on for you to be able to carry that mess out. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a mental illness. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got some mess with you, but it ain't necessarily something that medicine can take care of. You know, you need a healer. So, you sound like my child. Hold on. Let me light off my receiver. I'm sitting on this porch. I can hear people walking in the bushes. The bushes. Okay. It's a lot of demonic behavior. We're seeing a lot of that. Absolutely. I can truly say it's a praying time. I promise y'all, if y'all don't know nothing else, y'all better know how to pray. And if this sound get any closer, they better know how to pray, because I'm going to have to go in that house and get that blicker. Lord, you know my heart, but I got to stay safe. Okay, y'all. So thank y'all for tuning in. Again, if you have not hit that like button, please do your girl a favor and hit that like button. You guys got drama-free commentary. Y'all ain't hear nobody curse nobody out, talking trash. Lavelle, I'm dead serious, okay? That's what my client said. I'm gonna have to get that blicker. That's the 70s talk. You dead turkey. Have to get that blicker. Um, hold up. Hold up, yeah. Okay. Yes. Peace. Be still. All right. Hope y'all enjoy the commentary. Still trying to come back a little bit more, come back a little more often. You know, try to bring y'all something a little different to give y'all just a little break from all the craziness, you know. Let's something to break the monotony. Just give y'all something a little different. It's going on too much happening. Oh, they were about to get it. There's some kids. Okay. You're welcome, Jersey Girl. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for coming. I enjoyed my time on here with you guys. I'm going to take your advice. Oh, y'all can get like a little preview of the porch. We got to paint the ceiling. Got the ceiling fan up. Um, I painted the walls down here already. I can't. The flip. Do it this way so I can see. Um, Doors up. Everything has to be stained. I'm not gonna paint the trim. It's actually gonna be stained. They about to make me show how. Hold on. Cause I got my TV on and stuff up there. Got to go. Hold on. Hold on. Put y'all on hold for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Go in, please. It's too dangerous. I don't know what that is. I thought I heard some kids outside. But then, because I got like bushes, what you call it? Not a ravine, but something kind of like a ravine behind the house. And I'm thinking that maybe it was done with the dog, but when you start getting too close and I'm sitting outside, so okay. Oh God. Oh, this is about to get it. That's about to get it. The sound is like too consistent, and it sound like they were like right at the back door. Y'all trying to come watch TV or what now? We don't want them type of problems. There's one thing when I was in South Carolina, like I could sleep. I fall asleep on my back porch. Like I go out. I'm trying to go. I go out in the morning. Like I fix my little breakfast or whatever, and then I go outside and eat my breakfast outside. And chill out there all day. Come in, do whatever I got to do on the inside, then go back outside. And I would literally like fall asleep on the back porch or whatever. Of course, when I got my curtains and stuff up, I hadn't had a chance to put my curtains up yet, but I ain't used to these Georgia streets yet. Y'all know these people don't know how to act. They don't know how to act. I promise. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to act. But one of us is gonna learn today. Hopefully it won't be me. Okay, let me get my butt off here. I ain't gonna mess with nobody rabbit dog. Ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. Okay. All right. So appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Teresa, what you laughing at over there, girl? I tell you, it's real in these streets. It's real. It's real in these streets. But I enjoy y'all too. Thank you guys. They don't know how to act anyway. Oh, it's everywhere. It's not just here. Okay. I thought it was just these GA streets because something happening every day. Every day, like something is literally happening every day. That's why I have to stay in the country part of it all, child. I don't be getting mixed up with these people. You know, unless I'm going somewhere trying to be cute. Anyway. Let me get on up off here and get this outside off me so they won't be talking about me, Lavelle. You know, she said she stank. Y'all heard Doc say she stank. Not stink, but stank. She said she stank. Hope y'all got y'all little laugh in. I got me a little laugh in. I was about to tell you to make sure that you keep up with the, what you call it? The young thug situation, but since they did the bond hearing today, and they don't have, I think one of the guys go to his trial, like, well, he goes before the court again, like, it's not until August. So, I do. My Instagram is Doc Forever, I think. Doc Forever on Instagram. I think that's what it is. I think. Shoot, my English not that well either. My English not that well either. I think that's what it is. It's like DOC, Doc, the number 4, and then Ever, EVA. And if that's not right, then look at my about thing for this video and it should be in there. If not, charge it to my head and not my heart, because I tell you. All right, y'all. Y'all be good enjoy the rest of your night. I know I'm going to enjoy the rest of mine. Be safe out here in these streets. Watch out for weirdos. Watch out for weirdos. And if you don't get anything else out of this video, other than these arms are huge. Do y'all see that? These arms are huge. Okay, if you don't get anything else out of this video, remember this one thing. Yeah, mind your business. Mind your business. And when you get through doing that, mind it some more. Now I'm going to get off here because I feel like somebody trying to rob my... No. It's me. It's me. It's a picture of me. And I can't pull it up on here. Let me see. Yeah, I can't pull it up on here. It might be Dr. Rogers Forever. Doc Rogers Forever. I don't know, child. I don't know. I'll put it in the comments when I get off the video. If you want to get the Instagram. Y'all can follow me on Instagram. My page is open. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Have a blessed night. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.